So this is where we are today. Middle class declining, millions of seniors struggling to pay their food, their medicine, and their heat. And what do the Republicans do in the House of Representatives on their very first day of the new session? What do? On that very first day, the Republicans in the House made a change in its rules that could lead to a 20% cut in Social Security disability benefits for 11 million Americans, including 2 million children, over 1 million veterans, and over 150,000 surviving spouses. In other words, in the midst of massive wealth and income inequality, the Republicans on their very first day of the new session want to make massive cuts in a program that benefits some of the most vulnerable people in this country, people with disabilities. Today, the Social Security Trust Fund has about $2.8 trillion, which can pay out every benefit owed to every eligible American for the next 18 years. Historically, when one of the funds, Social Security Trust Funds, has run out of money to pay 100% of promised benefits, money has been reallocated to the other fund. This is not a new idea. Over the years, it has been done in a bipartisan way with very little fanfare. It is not a big deal. In fact, this has occurred 11 times, including 4 times under President Ronald Reagan, and clearly that is what we should be doing now. Now, let's be clear and understand what the Republican plan is. What they are saying is that either there will be cuts to the disability program, that's a 20% cut, if that fund is not replenished, or if the fund is replenished, that money will have to come from cuts to Social Security retirement benefits, in other words, the benefits that seniors in this country depend upon. And House Budget Chairman Tom Price is already talking about including Social Security cuts in the budget resolution that his committee will be writing. Needless to say, that is totally unacceptable to me and totally unacceptable to the American people. When we talk about Social Security today, what we should be talking about is expanding benefits, not cutting benefits. And I and members of the Senate are working on legislation to do just that. And at a time when multimillionaires pay the same amount of money into the Social Security Trust Fund as somebody making $118,000, the cap on taxable income must be raised. Let's be clear. The Social Security Disability Program is an insurance program that guarantees income to workers who become permanently disabled and can no longer work. And virtually every American worker pays into that insurance program. Many who receive, by the way, this program, disability program, are terminally ill. Nearly 20% of all Americans who receive disability benefits die within a 5-year period of being approved. Now, let me just touch on a few other issues that a serious budget will look at and that I and my colleagues on the Democratic side will look at. Today, some of the most profitable corporations and the wealthiest Americans in this country are avoiding $100 billion a year in taxes by stashing their cash in the Cayman Islands, Bermuda, and other offshore tax havens. If we are serious about dealing with the massive problems facing our country, this is an issue that must be addressed, and certainly addressed before we talk about cutting programs for the elderly and the children. Today, as a result of the carried interest loophole, there are hedge fund managers making tens and tens of millions of dollars a year in income who pay an effective tax rate lower than a nurse or a firefighter. That has got to change. Today, we have defense contractors who produce weapon systems with multi-billion-dollar cost overruns, time and time again. That has got to change. Today, we have large corporations like Walmart who pay their workers so low wages that many of their workers are forced to go on government programs like Medicaid, food stamps, and affordable housing to get by. And that is why we have got to raise the minimum wage so that companies like Walmart and Burger King and McDonald's are not huge recipients of corporate welfare. So there are a lot of issues out there. Once again, I look forward to working with Chairman Enzi where we have common ground. But I think there are going to be some fundamental disagreements, especially if my Republican colleagues want to be cutting Social Security. Thank you very much.
Most things in the Senate require signature, but not the vote, and the President doesn't sign the vote. So the House and Senate agree on vote. So what does that mean? That means that we can pass the spending bill. And I assure you that in the spending bill, we will be pushing back against this bureaucracy by doing what's called placing riders in the bill. No money will be spent to do this or to do that. We're going to go after them on health care, on financial services, on the government protection agencies, across the board. These administrators on steroids, all across the federal government, we're going to go after them.
So Mitch McConnell shows up in a room full of billionaires and hilarity ensues. Is that the storyline? Am I getting that right?
That's it. That's it. His first line is, gee, I'm not going to do any of those gosh darn things they want me to on liberal things like safety nets and health care. Just went on and on. I thought what was interesting about it, though, is, we don't need this audio testimony, this audio show that was put on by these really bottom feeder politicians. We don't really even need that to understand how much harm the Kochs have visited on America. We already have this